Welcome back, friends. This is the Instant Speed Podcast, brought to you by FABDB.net, your premier source for deck building tools, collection management, simulated booster drafting. Upgrade your account at FABDB.net. Get access to all the cool features and bring your game to the next level, friends. It is another season, if we even call it that, a season of Instant Speed. Here, a podcast about Flesh and Blood. It has been a couple of weeks. We've just been relaxing, enjoying a little bit of the holidays, and in this downtime, I suppose you can call it, there have been some news that has essentially bubbled up to the top, mostly in the form of new card reveals for Everfest. Everfest, of course, is going to be launching on February 4th, but before then, we are getting a little bit of information of what some of those new cards are. Now, I myself have just received my package from LSS regarding my card reveal. It is in here. I don't even know what it is because I haven't opened it yet. We're going to do that maybe feature episode or something, whatever. But card reveals aplenty. The card reveal that we have here will be on a future episode of Instant Speed Podcast, so keep that in mind. But there have been new cards that have come out, and most notably is a new hero, an elemental wizard named Icelander. Yes, not to be mistaken with Homelander, a very unique and intriguing character from The Boys, but still, Icelander is a elemental wizard hero, 4 intellect, 18 health. An elemental wizard hero. There's a young version. We don't know if there's an adult version, regardless. Essence of Ice, game text rating. If it's not your turn, you may play non-attack action cards with blue color strips from your arsenal as though they were an instant. Whenever you play an ice card during an opponent's turn, create a frostbite token under their control. A lot of disruption effects. Again, Icelander and instant speed. Hey, kind of fits the whole mantra of what we're doing here on this podcast, the Instant Speed Podcast. So that's your first leak. This one courtesy of Card Market, the official European partner of Flesh and Blood. Another new card that came out is called Macho Grande. Oh boy, and the art on this is equally as spectacular. Macho Grande is a Guardian attack action, costs 7. This is the red pitch version, 10 attack, and just naturally dominate. So a 10 attack built-in dominate Guardian attack. Costs a little bit much, 7. You know, pop maybe one of those seismic surge tokens, get that one on the cheap. But either way, Macho Grande is another little piece of Everfest that we're getting, spoon-fed slowly and surely. But keep your eyes peeled, because all across the social media platforms, you are going to see some of these cards start to trickle out, like our own, which we will be showing you on January 26th. Okay, we got an excellent guest to kick off this new season. It's episode 15 of Instant Speed, and we're bringing in Steven Kukis, aka DMArmada, joins us on the Instant Speed Podcast, brought to you by FABDB.net. The Instant Speed Podcast welcomes back one of my favorite co-casters. You can catch him on YouTube producing excellent Flesh and Blood content, as well as, casting major tournaments for the game. Not many recently, but it has been in the past. You might know him as DMArmada. I call him simply F. Welcome back, Steven Kukis, aka DMArmada. How are you, buddy?
I am great, and it's glad to be back. I hope you're having a good 2022. How's your 2022 going?
Well, we're 10 days in. I'm a week away from my my birthday, my 36th birthday, and so far so good. I mean, it's one of those things where, I don't know if you're one of those New Year's resolution types, but I have, and I've been pretty good with it, like over the course of the years. Usually January rolls around and I let myself go for December, and then it's back at it in January. So it's been a struggle of just cutting out sweets and chocolates and stuff out of my diet, but I've been pretty good about it. So exercise daily and less sweets, and it's been so far so good for the first 10 days. But how about yourself? I mean, the holidays have come and gone, and what has Steven Kukis been up to over the past little while?
Just a lot of hanging out with family when I can, getting together with my extended family, my parents, that sort of thing. It's been really fun when we can do that. We just celebrated my wife's birthday, so we went to a hibachi for that. That was really good. We enjoy some of the slightly finer foods, we're not super fancy. We're both teachers, so it's not like we can swing like the finest of things. But no, we had a good time. It was enjoyable. So holidays were fun. I got to watch my kids open presents, and that's always a blast. Yeah, it was a good time.
A part that perhaps people don't know is that, like, I mean, you mentioned to me, like, when we were kind of nailing it, I knew you had children. I think it just kind of maybe slipped my mind, but you're like, oh, I'm like, I'll be ready as soon as the I put the kid to sleep. And I'm like, put the kid to sleep. I mean, that sounds like first of all, it's a really great wrestling promo. Like, if you want to if someone's,
I'm going to put the kid to sleep, you just watch it.
Precisely, right. Like Mean Gene Okerlund is that. All right, DMArmada, what is your words that you're going to give to the brand new, like, the challenger at WrestleMania, whatever. And you're like, I'm going to put the.
You better watch his back because I'm going to put this kid to sleep. Like one of those, right?
Precisely, and that's kind of the first thing that came into my mind, which is the first indicator that I don't have kids, because I like, to me, when you say put the kid to sleep, it's just you have him in a figure four, and then your wife jumps off the top rope and elbows him, and it's like, all right, we're good until like 7 a.m. So it's fun.
We would have people call on us for that. Yeah, we're not gonna go that route, but no, I did just put the kid to sleep. Which also is like a weird euphemism for like using the restroom. I feel like that could be the other way you take that.
Oh boy.
Either way, it's definitely not what I did. I just literally put my 6-month-old into his bed. So it's completely different, but yeah.
And he's like, Dad, just leave me alone. I have things to do. Just go to your stupid card game nonsense podcast.
Go talk about nerd stuff. And I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, I didn't know that what your family situation is. Your wife's birthday just passed, so happy birthday to her. But yeah, it's 2022, and we're back at it in the podcast. And I didn't know who else I really wanted to start and kick this off with. And I mean, you and I had a lot of fun last year. I mean, we just kind of only had one event to work together, but it was quite memorable. I mean, it was the U.S. Nationals, and we had some really, really great moments. And that led me to just start thinking, because we have, you and I are going to have some awesome spoilers coming up for Everfest.
Yeah.
And that had my, engines churning in terms of what we're going to see in 2022. And before we dive into perhaps like the grander scale, we did get some great, new spoilers of cards. Again, today, we're recording this on January 10th. Yeah, Monday, January 10th. We got 2 new cards that just kind of leaked their way out. One is a hero, and one is a Guardian attack action. I want you to just give me your first impressions. You saw this, and what immediately jumped in Armada's mind?
Well, which one do we want to talk about first?
We can, we'll go in reverse order of awesomeness.
Okay.
So we'll start with Macho Grande, and Macho Grande is a common Guardian attack action. We saw the red version. I would imagine it's common, so we'll have all 3 color palettes, I suppose, but
we can assume it's a cycle. Yeah,
for sure. 7 pitch, 10 attack. I don't quite remember what the defense value on it is. It's Guardian, so I'd imagine it's 3. But
I would guess so. I'm not looking at the card, but you know what? I will.
Look it up.
Go on.
We are such a duo. Macho Grande, not to be mistaken, I guess, with Nacho Libre, but they're very similar. It's first of all, the art is really awesome and leads me to believe that perhaps there is some sort of luchador, theme that Guardian might lean on. But it's a 10 attack, and it has a built-in dominate, and that is tremendous. Let's just dive in real quick on your immediate a reaction to this card when it came out, because we saw something similar to this with what I forgot the name of it offhand. Tales of Aria, Guardian attack, Elemental Guardian, 10 attack. It was one of those. It was like 10 for 6, and it's one of those things where you're like,
Glacial Footsteps.
That's it, Glacial Footsteps, and you're thinking in your mind, I'm like, this could be a real big limited crush face. Like, this is something that you want to draft because this can end the game. Now, that card itself, it's like, well, we want to find Dominate with this. You want to pair this up. This is your finisher, blah, blah, blah. This card has Dominate already built in.
It does. So there's a couple of things. So my first impression was, holy crap, that's a really good card. If you're playing constructed, because you can tech plating, and then you pitch 2 blues on the next start of your, the start of your next turn, pitch 2 blues, play Macho Grande, come for 10, dominate, and you're basically playing a better Glacial Footsteps, like you're describing there. It does. I think it still does have play in limited formats, like in draft. Well, I guess you can't draft, can you? You can't play sealed because it's a supplemental set. But if you technically, and I'll put it this way, I really want to try a chaos draft with the 3 different sets. Have you seen people have done that before? I don't know if you've seen that.
I've never seen it. I've done chaos drafting with Magic, and it was a nightmare. But at the same time, I feel like this would be phenomenal. Like you'd have to kind of strategically do it, I think, where you're like, all right, well, here are 3 sets or 2 sets or whatever, and in those sets, like some of them cross pollinate or whatnot. Yeah. But I would love
the way that some people did it. They did it as a team draft with the first 3 sets in the game. So they did it as a team draft where they teamed up with several people and everyone, or maybe it's team sealed. I think it was team sealed.
Team sealed seems more plausible.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And they put together card pools based on all three sets and built decks based on that. If you did something like this and that, I feel like it would be less playable because pushing 7 resources out to play this is tough. But I think this is a natural fit with something like tech plating, where you create a seismic surge token that pops on your next turn so that you can pitch 2 blues and play this with dominate. But this is super solid. Anything that is able to pitch 2 blues, like when you're playing like a standard Oldham and you just add tech plating to this, it's like a total fit for just a giant threat late game, pitch it early, that sort of stuff. Seemed like a good card.
I thought so too, especially in depending on what you're up against. Oftentimes, like just being able to punch through for damage is sometimes it's those major being able to just actually just connect. It seems problematic. Dominate with Bravo is a key element to actually being able to start working your way towards bringing your opponent's life total to 0. But having it built in on this card, it just gives the card flexibility and ultimate playability, because like you mentioned, the 7 is an awkward number. That's a 3-card pitch in any way, shape, or form. With tectonic plating, having the seismic surge tokens ready to go, this is fine. But it's not just tech plating that offers seismic surge tokens. There's other greasier ways to do it, but it's still having that just ready to go. So in limited, like you said, it could be problematic because 7 you have to pitch 3 different cards potentially, and nobody really wants to do that. This card, I feel, is the start of what I hope is a little bit more aggression in the game, because Briar shouldn't be the only one that is just full throttling down. I miss the days where Guardian was not necessarily about just picking spots every 4 turns to deal damage and trying to fatigue out your opponent. This card seems like a situation where, a Bravo and Oldham and other Guardian or whatnot might just take it on the chin and say like, all right, I'm coming back with something even meaner. So let's do it, Yeah,
it's definitely a game finisher as well. So if you're playing towards the late game and you have this, then you can take some damage. Hopefully, if you've been playing Guardian in the style wherein you can deal a lot of damage, but then protect yourself to a certain degree, then you can take that last couple of points of damage that are free and open before you die, and then play this where they just can't come over the top with defenses because you've set dominate down in front of them and said this is basically game. You mentioned this earlier. There are other ways to create seismic surge tokens. Not the least of which is a new hero for this set in Valda. If you're playing Valda against anybody that draws cards, this card is like uber nuts because you get 2-3 seismic surge tokens, and this is just super cheap. Based on them drawing cards on their turn. But heck, you can even just play like Strength of Sequoia and push this to like 13 if you fuse Strength of Sequoia, which is gross, 13 with Dominate. But yeah, it's an interesting card to evaluate too, because you're sitting here like comparing the comps of this card. You have this card, which is 7 and guaranteed Dominate, and you have Glacial Footsteps, which is 6. But you have to fuse it, so you need the 3rd card anyway. You have 2 to pitch, 1 to play the card itself, and then 1 to fuse with. So you're sitting there weighing the setup costs. You have to set up both effects, but how do you plan to set it up? Either you're going to tech plating, or you're going to save the card that is an ice card so you can fuse Glacial. And it's an interesting comp there.
No, definitely, because the damage is what essentially is the extra cost, like you mentioned. If you want to fuse the Glacial Footsteps, then by all means go for it. But like you said, it's gonna be an extra card that you have in hand. The thing about it is the decision you make on the turn prior to that is creating the Seismic Surge token to be able to, pop off on the Macho Grande. I love saying that. Oh my God, I love saying that. Like when I saw this card, and what the best part for me was the fact that, and yeah, it's a supplemental set, so we're not really gonna see a lot of. There's going to be no drafting of this or sealed of this that you and I could potentially cast down the line. But imagine if that was the case. Imagine if they had this carnival style theme for.
See, that would be cool, man.
Because the type of thematic casting that you can have and the type of puns that you can insert in a carnival themed set, this is what I live for. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see themes in sets like this one, and I'm just like chomping at the bit to just make clown related puns, carnival style game related puns. But oh man, I really genuinely hope that there's this kind of firepower down the line, and we haven't really seen all that much out of this. But another card that we have seen is I'm gonna probably butcher this, Icelander. Okay, perfect. Icelander, a elemental wizard with essence of ice built in. We've seen the young version. I don't know if an adult version is something that they'll do they print adult versions of new heroes in supplementals? I don't think so.
So in Crew, they didn't print any adult heroes that were introduced to the game. So in other words, Kaio, Berserker Runt, he is only a young hero. He's not printed as an adult hero. There's a naming convention wherein if you have name, comma, superlative, that is the definitive version of that hero. So, for example, the young version of Bravo Showstopper is Bravo, but the adult version is Bravo, Showstopper. So there's this understanding that, like, if there's a young hero that is named, I don't know, I have it sitting here, Cavdaean Trader of Skins, that is the version of that hero, the de facto version, that there's not an adult version of this.
What is that right there?
Oh, that I'm holding up? This is Cavdaean Trader of Skins.
What is that card?
Oh, he's a merchant hero from Crucible of War.
Yes. All right. Like all these little itty bitties that we have not seen in any other capacity. That's a very interesting point, by the way.
Now, going off that, we have Icelander here without a superlative, without a comma and a naming convention. So there's something to be said about the possibility of seeing an adult version of this hero down the line, though I do think that Card Market, who spoiled the card, at some point said on Twitter, and I looked for the comment and I haven't found it after I saw it the first time, said that she won't be printed as an adult in an adult form in this set. So that could be true. That could be not true. I don't know. Kind of a mystery.
That's a good point as well. I mean, having the young version, typically you get them as a package deal, right? Like they're just the tokens of any particular set. But if Icelander's only coming in, if your logic, and it makes a lot of sense because it's true, across basically all the heroes, for example. But in this case, Icelander not having, a little bit of extra sauce attached to their name, that is a decent indicator that if Card Market is being honest about this, and I don't see why they wouldn't be, I suppose, is that maybe it's something that's coming down the line, that this elemental wizard, this essence of ice wizard in future sets might get fleshed out a little bit more.
Could be,
yeah. We might be getting sort of the potatoes before we get the meat for a lot of the stuff that we're going to get in Everfest.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility, I think. Yeah.
And I had to use food is so good. I love food. It's amazing.
Food is so good. Put that in the description. Food is so good. We don't need any other description describing this podcast. It's just that.
I know. And in the next segment in Go Again, one of the questions I was originally going to ask was like, is food good or bad? And then historically, it has been said that it is good over time, especially
carnival food.
Carnival food. Have you ever been
carnival
to
food?
Like what's your go-to carnival food? Because to me, it like when I think of a carnival, it's just grossness, like all over the place.
Turkey leg.
Oh, now
I go to Renfest to go. Look, I bought this hat at Renfest. Okay, and turkey legs, man, they're pretty good. Also, funnel cake. Those are the two, right?
What is that? Is that like a 3?
What's funnel cake?
No, not a funnel cake. The hat that you've got behind you there.
Oh, Should I get it?
You
should.
should.
I get the hat?
For those of you out there without the benefit necessarily of watching this on YouTube, this is a great chance to introduce you to the fact that this podcast, you might be listening on Spotify, you might be listening on Apple or Google Podcasts. We have it on YouTube as well, youtube.com/983TV, because you will get the benefit of seeing Master and Commander Stephen Cookus, captain of the USS Funnel Cake, I guess, striking fear in the hearts of all those who cruise the seas. Can you explain to us what this is? This hat? I mean,
it's a tricone. It's a tricone hat. It's a pretty cool looking pirate hat. Look, it's got a skull with its own pirate hat. This is a pirate hat with a pirate hat. The skull is wearing a pirate hat with the skull on it. There's a lot of layers here. Do you understand the implications? There's a lot of moral implications here.
I'm definitely taking it because you say tricone. Because when I go to Dairy Queen and I say that I don't like ice cream in a bowl, they say tricone, and I say that's not a bad idea. And
there you go.
Terrible joke.
There you go. It's okay. I appreciated it. I just let it go by.
No, it's okay. There's some of them.
This is a very large hat. It's a very large hat, but you know what? It stays fairly well.
It's very well fitted. Like it seems secure.
Oh yeah, this is made for wearing, right? This is it's legit. It's a good company that I bought this, and I was like, this was a good purchase.
I feel like
cheap.
I mean, you could be on the bow of your ship staring starboard as the winds gust at various knots.
This is true. Yes, I think I need to get like a full-on pirate costume, and then just open like Everfest packs or something with the pirate costume on just the whole time. I think that would be funny.
I mean,
I don't know why. It just strikes me.
Do you suspect that perhaps a pirate class could be something that we see down the line?
Dude, we are so way off the rails.
We are off the rails. But have you noticed, first of all, if you've noticed what the script for this episode looks like compared to the one you did last time? Last time I had all these detailed notes, and I'm like, well, it's Armada. Like I'm gonna put 2 bullet points, and we're gonna fill 2 hours, so it's not even that big of a deal.
I would love a pirate class. I just want you to know. I don't know if you've ever watched any video I've ever made on things that I want in the game. Pirates always on that list. No matter when I made the video. Pirates on the list. We need pirates in this game because it would be so cool. It would be so cool. One of them, you could have a pirate with a sword and like a flintlock pistol. And like the sword, if it hits, then you can shoot the pistol like at instant speed. And so you have this like that would be sick. Or there's already coppers in the game. What if you connect with it, or like if you have some amount of gold, then you can pay that gold and like take cards from like the graveyard and put them in your hand or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, we're fleshing it out right here. This is so cool.
I mean, come on. I've thought more about this than probably anybody as far as pirate class is concerned in this game. There are so many ways that you could do like piratey things, like stealing cards from your opponent. Like digging for buried treasure, so you like dig through the deck for like it makes total sense to like have a pseudo opt effect, or like you're going and fetching something from the deck for your pirate. I think it'd be so awesome. You could have like a little bird that's an ally. Come on.
Oh, I'm just double checking what a copper does in Flesh and Blood. Let me just take a look here.
Pay 4, draw a card, so it's like really expensive.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, and then you go again. What if? Yeah, like you said.
Well, they've alluded to silvers and golds, and they haven't printed silver or gold in the game.
Oh, so silver and gold must be like silver's like pay 3 to draw a card, and gold is to pay
2, maybe. Who knows,
2?
Right? But what if you had a way to collect all of those, and what if your alternate win condition, like on your hero, like you win the game if you have blah 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 amount of like money.
Oh yeah, well that's
so
like your Jeff Bezos class.
There you go. That's the play. Oh my god,
Jeff Bezos, space pirate. Yeah.
So your goal is to like survive and play a bunch of cards that gain you money, and just try to get there before. It's kind of like playing OTK, like Viserai,
right?
Except instead of like killing your opponent with rune chance, you kill them with like massive riches,
with immaculate wealth. Where you just literally that's a really interesting option. Like there could be a card where it's called like bribe or something, where it's like give your opponent 3 of your coppers or 1 of your gold to take a card out of their hand. Like that could be fascinating. Like, or to force them to discard a card or something like that. Like that.
Yep.
That could be the pirate ability. Is at instant speed, you could trade 3 coppers to force your opponent to discard a card or pay 3. Is that too?
I like it.
Is that too? I don't know. It's still
that's
Jeff
not
Bezos,
powerful
though.
enough. We need to make it more powerful because like you can do that same thing by playing a single card. And that card is called Winter's Fight.
Destroy 3 coppers to draw a card as well. That's the alternate one.
Destroy 3. Well, so cash in does that. cash in. You destroy 4 coppers and you draw 2 cards.
Right, but that's a card you have to have. You need to have one on your person at a.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. These are all.
That's true.
Fascinating. Now, so we have a pirate class.
I think we could get there. I think we should. Let's just change this entire podcast. We're going to talk about you, Icelander, but not right now because it's time to start theory crafting an entire new class. Welcome to the podcast. It's now begun. Let's talk pirate. No, I'm sorry.
This is called I want to say it's called Pirate Radio, but we already have that. Already exists. I think it's a movie. Do you think that you would be able to actually create an entire pirate class? If I said yes. Armada, you have a week to give me all the cards from that particular set. I don't know how many there are.
Yes, I could do that. I could do that for you, just for you though.
Have you done something like this before? Like it makes me sound like you have. Okay.
Oh yeah, back in what was it? End of 2019, early 2020, before Arcane Rising released, there was speculation about what heroes were and what classes were gonna be in Arcane Rising, and so I created it was an alchemist class essentially, but I called him a poisoner, and so he had items, and they were all potions, and the potions were status effects like debuffs for your opponent. So it was like potion of lethargy, and when you played it on them, then they like everything cost like 2 greater or 1 greater. So it was literally frostbite. Now that I think about it,
you had CLF before, Channel Lake Frigid before, but it was a drink.
Yeah, but it was a potion. And then there was like his effect was like all potions have go again. So like all items have go again. Which is kind of funny because that's like mechanologist to a certain degree. Anyway, it was a pretty cool class. And then I accidentally guessed ranger and then guessed that there was going to be a bow as the weapon and that you had to load arrows into it.
That's really cool. Because that would and so straight away. Like that was completely accurate. And
so Legend Story Studios sent me arrows as a spoiler for Arcane Rising.
Nice.
I was like, holy crap, what? It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's a sweet moment, prediction. Yeah. All right, your assignment for in the next couple of weeks is that you have to flesh out at least, I want 3 different common cards, 2 rares, and 2 majestics, along with the weapons for your pirate class.
I could do that. We could do that together. It'd be like a fun, like a hands-on activity. It'd be great.
That's the teacher in you, man, and I love it. It's
just true.
All right, so back to Icelander because this has been one hell of a tangent.
Look, most of that is going to get cut. He's going to cut most of what we just talked about. So I'm putting this portion in here so he can't physically cut. Let's talk about Icelander. Icelander is really freaking cool. Okay, so check this out. Icelander, I saw when they spoiled it, I looked down at my phone because I was working. I was like typing. I was like making lesson plans and like printing out things and making like corresponding professionally with people on the internet through email and stuff. Okay. And then I look at my phone to check the time. I look down and I see there's this card on my phone. I don't know how it got there. It just appeared sort of magically. I guess that's the power of Discord. And I looked and it was a hero. The entire time it was a hero. I made a video a few days ago where I was like, this could be a hero. And people were like, it could be. It would be amazing if it were blah, blah, blah. It turns out it was a hero and she is really cool. I don't know how you feel about her, but I think she's really, really cool.
Well, my first, there was kind of rumors going around where someone's like, oh, this might be a mentor for, whatever. And I was like, I think they're over the mentor thing. That could just be me. But what I did, my initial impression was, like when I got all the information about it, before I even read the text box, I was like, cool. Oh, like elemental wizard. Like that's so freaking awesome because I love elemental stuff. but I'm like, but it's you go on this huge high. You're like Ice Mage, like super awesome. I've played this in all kinds of different games. And then you see Wizard and you're like, but I'm not going to try it because Wizard is complicated and I have no interest in learning an entire different layer of the game that I have previously ignored.
That's understandable, but I will say this, and I think this is a real credit to Legend Story Studios. They have really laid the groundwork for understanding how Icelander plays, because they've introduced, particularly in the last two sets, but really I would say with Tales of Aria, things that happen at instant speed across a variety of different classes. When you can do things at instant speed and you understand those timing windows, it makes picking up Icelander, for example, a lot easier, and she is much less combo like crazy oriented compared to Kano. Kano is like here, and she's more down here from what I've been able to put together so far based on what I built for her. And yes, I did legit start building a deck for her. Like in that moment when I was being professional, don't tell anyone. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna pause. I've done a lot of great work, blah 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 blah, and I started like thinking about it. So she is definitely a wizard through and through in the sense that she can play things at instant speed. But I feel like they've done a fantastic job of laying the groundwork for you, perhaps listener, a non-wizard player, perhaps, to start figuring out how to play things at instant speed and how to play towards that wizard, class identity.
And one of the major indicators in terms of, because we've seen the capability of what Kano can do. I mean, firsthand, you and I got to cast probably potentially the match of the year last year, which
was amazing.
It was phenomenal, and you're rolling by the seat of your pants and everything, and you could tell you're like, okay, well, Kano in those situations is a 30 health hero, right? And that versus the average, which is 40, and you're thinking that's a clear indicator in terms of what the ceiling is and the potential of this or power level of this particular hero. Icelander's at 18, I believe, or
she's 18 health hero, young hero.
So she's right in between sort of the power level of young Kano at 15 and the status quo, which is about 30, and Valda, I believe, is 31.
Or 20, yeah, and Valda's like 21 or something like that.
20, yeah. So I apologize, yeah. So Valda's at 21, and the status quo is usually 20. And there you are with Kano at 15, but she's kind of in the middle. What in terms of what that might indicate for the hero? Is it just because Wizard is so capable to kind of burst you down and be that devastating, but she's not quite there because she doesn't have the instant speed game text of like Kano? Like what are you reading into from the life total on Icelander?
Well, it reminds me a lot of the other crew heroes that they messed around with life totals for. Like, for example, here's Kaio, Berserker Runt. He is a Crucible of War young hero, and he sits at 19 health instead of 20. And I feel like they do a pretty cool job of trying to balance the hero's inherent ability and perhaps their ability to kind of like high roll, for example, with their total health. And so when it comes to a hero like Valda, whose sole ability relies on your opponent to draw cards, which is something they can literally just not build their deck to do, then they give a little extra health, and that's what we see. Or in this case, there is the capacity for a hero to deal damage to you on your turn and to do very tricky, powerful things with cards like Channel Link Frigid, or, I mean, even Blizzard is something that she could play no matter what. But you can give Frostbites on your opponent's turn, which can really nuke their turn if they don't plan for it, depending on how they blocked on your turn. Because there's a capacity there for you to really mess with things, they apply a bit of a life debuff to try and balance out that hero power or that hero effect. And I think that's really fun. I think I personally would love for them to make all heroes some variety of health totals, at least Blitz heroes to be some variety of health totals. And that's what we saw in Crew. And so I'm hoping we see that for any other future heroes spoiled in this set as well.
I'm really looking forward to see who breaks it. My first, my very first Kano experiences have always been fascinating because, you always think you're at an advantage through and through until they basically get you on turn like 2.5, and you're just kind of left wondering like, wow, what the hell just happened, and how do I stop this? And I've just never been a deck builder. Like I've never really been a good theory crafter. I see all these cards, and I just, in my mind, I'm like, my excitement is not necessarily to get there and start messing with the bits and pieces, like you did. Like you're like, I already built a deck with her. I've already kind of got there. Like for me, it's just seeing the different avenues that are being taken, and I'm in the middle of the raft where like I can see a little bit of what's coming, but I'm just excited to be there and to see what everyone else is doing. Like I just want to be along for the ride. And I think that if this is the indication of kind of where we're going, more elementals, like who knows what we might get in this set. And it really, it's a good time, man.
I think it's a really exciting kind of a spoiler because it gives us implications, right? Like you're saying, it gives us the possibility of seeing talent heroes in classes, I should say, that we haven't seen explored in the last 2 sets. So for example, there's a ton of people that have been like all gung-ho on water or wind ninja, and those 2 elements aren't technically in the game right now because we have ice, earth, and lightning, but we could see a lightning ninja, or we could see a shadow ninja because it's a talent in Monarch, right? So we have this capacity to see, I don't know, like a light mechanologist. That'd be kind of interesting. I wonder what they do. Maybe it's some sort of a cleric ability, but you have this mix and match capability with classes and talents and specific like abilities and card pools from all these disparate areas that can lead to some really interesting things. And I think this is the first sighting of those mixing of ideas, and that's really fun.
That is fun. And there's so much more left to, like, the ingredients are there and they keep adding more. So the recipes are only going to get spicier as things go by. And as we, look further into 2022, they've been talking about, really supporting the pro scene, as it were, really just kind of developing and just planting the seeds for what is supposed to be a very healthy league. What's the ceiling on this? Have you ever seen? Like, I'm not, when it comes to this kind of, like pro cards and the Magic Pro Tour, like I was never part of that culture very, very much until very recently. And as it is now, it's nothing about what it is, or nothing like what it was, right? But now moving forward, and I just curious what your thoughts are like in terms of what an ideal pro scene would look like next year. Or this year, 2022.
This year, yeah, because this year, I will say this, full openness and caution. I did not follow the Magic Pro Tour or the pro scene myself. Okay, I was never someone that dove deep into competitive Magic the Gathering, and so speaking towards what that looked like and what this could look like in comparison, I can't make that connection. But what I can say is that I've said this multiple times, I do believe that the callings that we had last year and the national championships that we had last year all performed hugely well in comparison to what probably a lot of people thought would happen. Those could have performed poorly, and it wouldn't have mattered because it's this year that matters to the future trajectory of the game. I think this pro scene taking place, playing out, and then paying out winners and people seeing the actual palpable ability to go and win something like this and have that living be basically made on playing professional cards in this avenue is huge for the game, because if it is a successful year and they play all the way through the events and people watch that, then the game is going to continue to just trend upward as far as a legitimate property that people can invest in with their time and their money and their hard work and that sort of thing. So if the entire year's slate of events play out and are successful, then the game is going to, I think, continue to explode. We've seen the game explode because of collectability, investability, and it's starting to explode because of playability after those last events that we just covered. It's really going to explode in playability if the pro scene takes off.
Yeah, and there's a lot of desire for people to try out, which is great, and I think the field's wide open too. I think new card games, there's a lot of seasoned card players who understand sort of the transcending principles and skill sets that you carry from game to game that can perform well in any card game that they play. But there's really not a lot of those grizzled vets, right? Like there's going to be the people who have done all the callings, whatever. But so the pro scene is it's ripe for a lot of people to just go ahead and start sinking their teeth into those lingering desires that they may have let evaporate from Magic. I know that I played in the invitator, the qualifier or the Pro Tour qualifier, ProQuest. That was it at Canadian Nats, and I top 8'd, and I had no interest at all in any of that. I just played because it was like, for me, I was there for that afternoon anyways. I'd scrubbed out of day one, so I was like, screw it, let's try. But that little drip was enough for me to buy tickets to the or entries into the upcoming qualifiers that are moving forward. Like that's never been my desire, but it's now's the time, I guess.
I mean, it's like you said, it's ripe for people to go and make a name for themselves, and that's exciting too, because it is a very, very new competitive scene, and there's opportunity for people to write their own history within the game, and that is incredibly alluring. Perhaps for some people even more so than just winning some money or some really beautiful cards. It's the idea that, like, I'm going to write a portion of the history, and in that there's going to be my name, and that's pretty cool.
Right. I mean, I know a lot of people who have won big card tournaments or whatever, and when years later when you ask them, you're like, okay, like, how much money did you win? Like, I think it was like something about this. I'm like, oh, where's the trophy? He's like right here. Like, this is all you remember is that. You want that recognition. You want a little bit of that validation. Plus, it's just fun to get sweaty sometimes and play cards, right? So I'm looking forward to it, man. As I am looking forward to a segment we call Go Again. So hopefully you're going to join us, right? I believe, Mr. Armada.
I'll stick around. Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. All right. We're going to be right back after this quick message from our sponsors at fabdb.net. This episode of the Instant Speed Podcast is, of course, brought to you by fabdb.net, your premier source for deck building tools and resources. Now, new heroes are being leaked. We just saw Icelander, and Everfest is bringing so much more, and the team behind fabdb.net are always hard at work to keep you at your peak of preparation. Now, build decks, manage your account, your collection as well, mock drafts aplenty, simulate booster openings with your upgraded account. Yes, fabdb.net is your best spot to enhance your Flesh and Blood experience. So upgrade your account. You will not regret it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go wide on DMArmada as we go again on another season. I'm all 6s and 7s today.
He's seizing over there is what he's trying to say.
I am. I'm so excited. It's Go Again. It's I wanted to say season 2 of the Instant Speed Podcast, but I don't think we do seasons. I don't think it works that way in this business.
Why not? It can. Hey, you're the boss, man.
I am. Thank you. You could be my sub boss. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, put me down.
Done.
I'm Admiral.
Sold. All right. So Armada's here for a segment we call Go Again. We're going to ask him some rapid fire questions here, but we usually get into the weeds with this too. Are you ready, my friend, to go again?
Fire away. Fire at will, sir.
First action will be, what hero is just one piece away from being tier 1?
Kano. That was my answer. Kano.
But would you not put him tier 1 as it is, or is he like tier 1.5? Because he's winning. He won a Nationals.
Yes, he did win a Nationals. I don't think he's tier 1, but I don't think that's a knock on him either. I think it's one of those scenarios where he is so incredibly tough to play, and there are fewer people per capita playing him. That if more people played him, maybe we could say he's tier 1. But the results overall have skewed him a little bit more towards tier 2. I will also say this. There are tough times when your opponent is playing like Null Rune 3, but it's a really, really easy win if they're not playing more than one piece of Null Rune. And the current meta says they're not playing more than one piece of Null Rune. So, if that's the case, playing Kano into that meta, he may be just straight up tier 1. But if the meta shifts, I feel like he's one piece away from still being tier 1.
All right, I dig it. Next question. Have you ever regifted cards?
No, I've never regifted cards. I can't do that. Like all of these, like the gifts or the cards that I like open or like I buy or something like that or trade for, they're all kind of sentimental. I'm a sentimental person, and so like I don't know. I can never take that and then just like I don't know, give that to someone else. It doesn't feel genuine, and I feel like I would lose a little thing, you know.
No, that's a very noble way to approach it. Let's go with number 3 here is one improvement to Flesh and Blood broadcasts if you had an infinite budget.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
But yeah, like within the realm of reality, like don't like the first thing that when I wrote this, I was like, okay, I would have it on the moon, but like that's just like that doesn't count. So it has to be within the realm of like possibility.
I would do like a huge amount of cameras, like a camera on the hand, a camera on the face, a camera, like multiple cameras at different angles of the board. And then I would interlace them so that you can all like just at the touch of a button, like on OBS, swap between them so that you could go like full on sizzle reel, like big stinger swap to the hand cam and you like watching him look at the hand or swap out into the board. And then there's like an animation that plays when they play specific cards. Like that would be pretty cool. I would dig that.
No, that's pretty decent. That is pretty decent. Sweet. Okay, let's go with number 4. What will be in the carnival slot of the booster packs for Everfest? And for those who are not aware, every pack, it says there will be a special quote-unquote carnival slot for a card. Now, I don't know what that replaces or what it entails. Still a mystery, but what do you think it is, Armada?
Oh, I've made multiple predictions on this, actually. So the first thing I said was that the carnival slot's going to be reprints of needed cards like Command and Conquer, or well, technically we already knew Arcanite Skullcap is getting reprinted. Enlightened Strike, right? The second thing I said after their more recent post of showing Valda and then the star of the show kind of little nod was the idea that they're going to reprint old heroes in new alternate arts and like foilings. So like they're going to reprint Bravo Showstopper, but they're going to and give him the exact same ability, but give him an alternate art. Now I'm not so sure now because there's news and rumors that there's going to be 30 different cold foils or special cold foils in the set. I think it's going to be those. I think that's what's going to be the carnival slot. Like if you hit nothing in the carnival slot, it'll just be a normal card. Maybe it's like a rare. But the rare replacement carnival slot, sometimes you open it up and it's a cold foil, dazzling finish, something or other. Maybe like a cold foil Icelander, right? Maybe that's the kind of thing that they're going for. I think that's what it might be. It might end up being.
I mean, I've kind of struggled with this one as well because I thought the first thing I thought of was what you said, which was it'll be an alternate art of an existing card, or an alternate or a hero with like they have like clown makeup on in their art or something like that. But then I thought if it comes down to it, redoing artwork is very expensive in card games.
Yes.
So I think that I kind of not like nixed the alternate art idea and went with reprints of, like you said, like a reprinted card or something. But I think that part of it is just the fact that from a printing and budget perspective, new art is expensive, and printing or foiling of existing cards is probably just more cost effective.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
What is Armada's hidden talent?
Ooh, I can play every instrument if it's a brass, woodwind, or percussion instrument.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Have I asked you this in a previous go again? Because that answer seems like, I don't know if I'm having deja vu, but I was like,
well, I'll give you another answer. I just thought of one.
Sure.
I used to be very good at the rhythm game Guitar Hero. There you go.
All right.
Very good. Used to be quite decent.
Like Dragon Force on Supreme Excellent, super high hardcore. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's a video I want to see. Is you busting one of those out?
Yeah, there's a video out there actually of me 4-starring that song. Yeah. I was never good enough to 5. I never practiced the lines for a 5-star of that song, but yes. Yeah, I played that song.
All right, then. New set comes out. A brand new set comes out. How much new product do you buy when it is released?
Nowadays?
Yeah, like for instance, let's say for Everfest, like how much, for Tails, I went out of my mind, and I don't say I regret it because I enjoyed every single pack I opened, but for Everfest, I toned it back.
What was out of your mind? What was out of your mind?
I think it was. It started. I think it was like maybe seven boxes.
There's no judgment here. No judgment.
No, it was 7, and the way that it kind of went down was I pre-ordered 3, and then got a really good deal on 4. So I bought that 4, and then the previous 3 they wouldn't let me return it, so I was on the hook. So I kind of got wheeled into that much. But no, Everfest is significantly less than that.
I will say this. When Monarch rolled around, I saved up a good bit of money so that I could buy Monarch. And then I started saving up a good bit of money after that so that I could buy Tails. And I've saved up a good bit of money after that so that I could buy Everfest. And I kind of hovered around and this is kind of crazy when you think about it, I kind of hovered around the 4 cases amount. So that's like 16 boxes.
Yes.
Which is a lot. But here's what I did. I justified it as an expense so that I could make any deck that I would want to put on camera.
Oh.
And also I used, I would buy first edition boxes and crack the packs and then give those to patrons. So, and that's what I'm doing for Everfest too. So
awesome.
I'll buy some boxes and then I'll just give those out to patrons to say thank you for supporting the channel. So
I'll support the channel, guys. I mean, we'll do all the pluggables at the end of the show, but
indeed,
you give back. You're like the Robin Hood of Patreon. You're like,
it's more transactional, but yes, I appreciate that connection. There you go.
Okay, we did that one already. Okay, now if there's a carnival game that what's a carnival game that you're just really good at?
I don't think I'm very good at many carnival games. I don't play a lot of carnival games because to me, I see those, like I'll watch like a carnival game get played and I'm like, man, if I play that, I'm just going to get scammed out of my money. And so like for me, I'm just like, do I really want to like I just said that I buy 4 cases or more of like product and I'm like, here, I don't want to play a carnival game. What kind of lame answer is that? No, I don't play a lot of carnival. I'll say this. I'll do the ring toss. You know where you toss it and like it bounces between the bottles.
Oh God. That's like the worst one. There's like no chance. I remember I was at the Minnesota State Fair, which was awesome actually. It was pretty fun. And they had skee ball. So couple of my buddies went to a comedy show that was going on there, and me and another friend were just roaming around. They had carnival games. I spent about $6 playing skee ball and didn't even hit the minimum score for to qualify for any prize. Like you needed to sink like 2 balls out of like the 8, and you'd get a prize. And
is skee ball? Are we saying skee ball is a carnival game? Because I'll answer skee ball.
Okay, if you're like an ace at skee ball, then
I'm not an ace at skee ball. I'm okay at skee ball. My aunt was really into skee ball when I was a kid, and so she, in playing skee ball a lot, kind of made me want to play skee ball a lot. She was really good. Both my aunt and my grandmother on my mother's side were like really into skee ball, and like. If they were alive still, they'd still be playing skee ball because that game was like the nuts for them. And yeah, that's a fun time. So I played a good bit of skee ball.
Okay, because if you that kind of confidence was, when I was playing, the girl who was taking my quarters to play it felt bad for me eventually and just kept giving me the quarters back to put back into the machine, because it was like she's like, just go, just play, just like I can't take your money anymore. It's pathetic. So she gave me like 5 free games, and I finally eventually won like this small little thing that I don't even know what it was anymore. It was that insignificant.
But it's a trophy. Did you put it on the wall somewhere?
It probably blew away because the quality of those kinds of prizes are so high.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, last one, which be you're on a long haul flight, so a very long airplane ride, and you got the middle seat between 2 flesh and blood heroes. Who would you want them to be?
Okay. Look, everybody, I'm going to peel back the curtain. Are you ready? I'm going to peel the curtain back. He sent me this question prior to this interview, and I've thought about it.
No, the kayfabe, it's gone. Oh, no.
It's gone, yes. I've thought about this question. I think I've come up with a fun answer. Okay, on one side is Lexi. Okay, Lexi, because if you read the lore article, she talks a decent bit. She seems very... she's very extroverted. She seems kind, magnanimous. She probably has some interesting stories to tell. So she'd be on one side because she would talk, and I am an introvert through and through. So if I could choose every human interaction, I would rather listen than talk. Like that's my like go-to. I would rather listen. I enjoy listening to people talk about things they enjoy. And so I would have her on one side, and then I'd put Bravo on the other, because I feel like he would have really good stories about things he's done or like random stuff, and he would still be like excitable, like really loud personality. And so the two of them just talking about things that happen in Aria, I feel like that would be a good time.
Yeah, it'd be pure entertainment, right? Like and they're just both like popping off on each other. Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that.
I feel like they get along too. Like they would both like have a conversation, like a nice conversation. You know what I mean? Like that would be a good one.
About hair care and being awesome. Those kinds of things.
They talk about hair care. There you go. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that answer. That was an excellent one, and another excellent episode. I really appreciate you being on the show, man. You were the first one I wanted to reach out to, and I'm like, I need to start booking people for this show. Who do I want first? And you came up top of the list, my friend. So I'm glad you could do it.
You could reach out to James White, and you're like, let me get that guy over there, that random guy that makes a video once in a while.
Well,
man, I James White's pretty cool. That seems like a pretty cool dude.
That is going to be a great episode. That one's going to be, I believe, airing on February 2nd. But I wasn't like, I'm so freaking nervous about that one. But he's such a nice guy. Like we've chatted before, and like we exchanged emails here and there. This isn't like a flex or anything. It's just that James White is going to be on the podcast eventually in a couple weeks. But
that's a flex. You gotta flex that.
Flex that one. I mean, that's the clickable episode right there.
True.
Not like you're exceptionally clickable. So if we want to click on you, Stephen Cookus, Miss AKA Armada, where do we click? Tell us about all your outlets.
Sure. The main one is youtube.com/DMArmada, where I do YouTube videos about Flesh and Blood, other trading card games, trading card game accessory, like reviews, things like that. A lot of like resources for how to play different games. That's what I mainly post on. So if you'd like to come and hang out with me, that would be a fantastic time. We'd love to have you over there. Outside of that, I have a Discord, which you can find in the description of all of those videos. You can hang out with me on Twitter. I'm starting to get more active on Twitter. I thought that's pretty fun. I've enjoyed that. I have an Instagram as well. All of these are like, Twitter is like Armada_DM, and Instagram is like just DMArmada. So if you just do some Googling, I'm sure it'll pop up for you. But no matter how you choose to come hang out with me, the fact that you choose that is absolutely wonderful, because you could choose to do anything with your time. So if you want to come spend it with me, I am very humbled, and you can hang out with me on all of those places.
You've always been such a witty and gentlemanly and well-spoken and articulated human being. I appreciate you doing the show, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on again, and I'm glad I got to kick it off. Hopefully the people that follow me are good leaders and take us all the way to the James White interview, which I am absolutely super pumped to hear.
I'm excited too. If you got any input, man, like by all means, just feed me questions, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of the Instant Speed Podcast. Don't forget, you can follow the channels wherever they may be: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, etc. Leave us a great review. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget, you're not losing if you're learning, friends. So keep playing the game. See you soon. Bye-bye.